Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contracts, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so I have Michael Flight on the line. He's co-founder and CEO over at Liberty Real Estate Fund, and he's also co-host of Nothing But Net podcast. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam, thank you very much for inviting me on. It's really an honor to talk with you today.
Oh, man, Michael. So I'm excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about launching your unique $30 million blockchain-based real estate fund that invests in net lease properties. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to get into your into the podcast and Nothing But Net podcast. And for all my listeners that have been with me for a long time, you know I love supporting and promoting other podcasters. So definitely want to get that message out and have my audience go check it out. But just to get us kicked off, so tell us a little bit more about Liberty Real Estate Fund, please.
Liberty Real Estate Fund is the world's first single-tenant net lease security token fund, which joins blockchain technology wrapper, and it includes our 30-plus years of institutional real estate investment experience to deliver stable, diversified, tax-efficient returns combined with liquidity, security, and transparency.
So let's break that down a little bit further. So first off, why the blockchain route? Because there's some people listening to this right now that are like, all right, so what's the benefits? Why would they do this? There's already funds that have been happening that weren't using that route. Let's dig a little bit deeper into why you decided to go that route.
Well, I always tell the origination story as was reading the book Zero to by Peter Thiel. I can't remember the name of the title right now, but what actually we said is like blockchain is going to be the future of finance. When we started really looking into it more, I've got friends in the ICO and blockchain markets, and they were investing in all these cryptocurrencies, and I said, I really don't understand this. I really don't understand because you just got an algorithm, you don't have an asset. I said, why couldn't you take a piece of real estate and tokenize it, and then you would have the asset plus the cash flow? And so eventually we started off on this journey and came up with it ran into security tokens, which are regulated securities. They're not like the Wild West, and this is not a cryptocurrency. It just gives you all the benefits of having a tradable asset and a digital asset. So we think it's going to be the future of raising money, especially in private real estate deals.
So let's go a little bit further into some of these benefits, because there's some people that are listening that they still have maybe this misperception that anything blockchain related or digital currency related is the Wild West, and it's just progressed like that. Maybe that's where something started. Maybe there's some, just like anything, there's stock. I mean, there's penny stocks. I mean, there's different levels of finance for many different types of products. But maybe let's go a little bit further into some of these benefits. So tell us a little bit more about those.
All right. Well, the benefit is that you would take a normal, what would be called a syndication. So somebody investing in our fund would have to be an accredited investor, and so we would normally do this directly with accredited investors. With the security token, it is done all online, so it's very ease of onboarding and all the rest of it. And then the next thing, as I said before, it is a regulated security. So for U.S. investors, it's a 506C. security, and for foreign investors, it's a Reg S security. So the other benefit to this type of technology wrapper is it's very difficult for non-domestic U.S. investors to invest in the United States. With this, you can raise capital, and also investors from all over the world can invest in projects either in the U.S. or if it's a European-based project, they can invest in European projects. We have friends that just tokenized a beautiful golf course resort community in the Dominican Republic, and that was a successful security token offering, and they had investors from all over the world. So that's what we really like about it. And the other thing is that these tokens, when you buy the token, it's basically, like I said, buying a share of a syndication. But U.S. investors, after 1 year, have the ability to sell all or a part of their token. And there's not only can you do it, like if you and I, Adam, got together and I said, I've got 10 of these tokens and I'd like to sell you 5. And you said, yeah, I'd really like to invest in that. Me and you could just go and do the exchange directly, and there wouldn't have to be a broker involved. There wouldn't have to be anything else involved. But if you really wanted to, the other thing is that there's exchanges popping up all over the world. So you could list your tokens on an exchange and you could sell them that way. So it's not only the benefits, the traditional benefits of real estate, which I'd love to talk about after this, but you also get that liquidity, you get worldwide access, and you get the benefits of a digital asset. So the blockchain is an immutable thing. So once it's put on the blockchain, ownership is there. So those are just some of the benefits.
That's awesome. I want to spend some time on your podcast. So let's dive into that one. So first off, congrats on the podcast. I think it's awesome. I know you work with Adam Carswell on this. I think it's a great idea. We love Adam over here on the show. So tell us a little bit more about Nothing But Net podcast.
Well, I've been in the real estate business for going on 35 years now, and the majority of that has been working with shopping centers and what we call net lease investments. So Nothing But Net, it's a play on the word net lease. And so a net lease is usually a long-term lease with a well-known brand name tenant. And the reason why it is a net lease is because you get nothing but net income. So the tenant actually, so if you see like a freestanding Walgreens, everybody can picture that in their head, or better yet, worldwide, people can picture a freestanding Starbucks or a freestanding McDonald's. Those tenants don't necessarily own their property. Most of the time it's owned by an investor like us, and those tenants pay rent to the investor. So in the example of McDonald's, we do a 20-year lease with McDonald's. McDonald's agrees to pay us, over those 20 years. So basically, it's like a bond with McDonald's. So we like to also call them bonds wrapped in real estate, because you get all the backing of this billion-dollar corporation. You know that they're going to be making their payments even through situations like we just went through with COVID. McDonald's never missed a beat. They kept paying all their rent. The other great thing in how we get to a net lease is because the tenant pays for the property taxes, they pay for the insurance on the building, and they pay for the maintenance of the building and also replacing anything on the building or in the parking lot and all the rest of that. So that's how we get, a lot of times they're called triple net leases, or you'll just see it abbreviated as NNN. And each one of those N's, you can remember it by TIM. It's taxes, insurance, and maintenance. So that the tenant pays for those, and it nets out all your expenses. So you just end up with nothing but net income. What we like to say is it's mailbox money, or in the case of McDonald's or all these larger corporations, they wire the directly. It's an ACH payment. It goes directly into your bank account.
So, Michael, as a podcaster, I ask all my podcasters, all my creators on the show, like, what's one of your favorite either moments or lessons from your podcasting journey so far?
Well, I am at the very beginning of the podcast journey. We just dropped the first episode. We've probably got about 5 or 6 episodes already cut. But probably the most interesting part is my partner Adam, who's worked for us, and with us for 2 years now. He's based out of Newfoundland, Canada, so it's getting on the Zoom call and doing that. But the other thing is that it's really thinking through, because I've got all this stuff in my head, and it was, how do I get this stuff out of my head and down on paper and down into something so that it's manageable, so somebody can just walk into the podcast and understand what we're talking about. So it's not using buzzwords. It's, getting it down to the, I don't want to say lowest common denominator, but we want to be as educational as possible, because not too many people know about this section of the real estate market. So that's really what the most enlightening thing is. How do I keep it, getting it down, so that it's approachable, so everyone listening to it can say, yeah, I think I could do that.
Oh, that's awesome. I think it's a great idea. I love to hear that you're early in your journey, by the way. So that's a big benefit for me, because I don't always get somebody when they're just starting out. And sometimes people are listening to this and they think, like, oh, I can never do that, or oh, do I have something to say, or oh, like, all those like fears or anxieties or things. And it's like, no, just go do it. Like, it's okay. You're an expert in your field. You've been working it, even in your case, many years, and you have a lesson to teach. You have a message to share, and it feels good when you get out there, when you share that message, when you educate people. I mean, has that been your experience?
Oh, yeah. You just hit it directly, the nail on the head, because it's like, I have this knowledge, and, we've had probably through our 30 years in business at our company, we've probably had close to 15 to 20 interns come through. And it's, over and over again, it's like, how do I explain this to them so that they can understand? And I'm not using the buzzwords. We explain the buzzwords, but it's like, you have to bring it to the level that the people that you're working with don't necessarily understand. So I've had to become an educator, and then I found out that I really like educating people. And it's really about, if people are informed about a certain thing, then they feel more comfortable doing it. And I will say that if somebody has, any type of experience in anything, or they feel that they have something to say, they should just jump out there and start doing the YouTube thing, start doing the podcasting thing, and work with Adam, because I know, Adam, you actually help people publicize their podcasts, and I know that you also have this great book type of thing, and that's an instant credibility builder right there. So.
Well, I appreciate the plug, but I'm more importantly, I'd say anybody, just go out there and do it. You can work with us, great, not a big deal there. Go on YouTube, figure it out yourself, however you want to get it done. The main thing for me is just get it done. Like, that's why we're so strong in advocating the podcast community, because we know, and I'll throw this out there for some of you that maybe don't know if you have a message or don't know if you have an expertise that's worth getting out there. Your podcast can be about learning. My podcast, I'm a finance guy. One of the reasons why we do all these different shows and segments is because I want to learn in different areas. I have a fitness podcast, and the whole premise of my fitness podcast is I don't know that much about fitness, and I want to learn more. So what do? I interview fitness experts, and guess what? I'm learning. So, like, that's another way to do it. Is it's a tool. You're asking questions of experts. Like, it's an amazing thing, an amazing platform to be able to learn, to get your message out, and it just creates win-win situations in my opinion. So, Michael, I like the way you explained that, and it's an honor to have you on the show, especially when you release your first one, because now I'm like, oh, you're going to listen to this in like a couple of years and be like, oh, I remember when I was back there, and you're going to be a pro. So I'm excited to watch you grow through your journey.
But I also, like I said, I wanted to reiterate, the reason why I said work with people like Adam is I have my own Adam, and Adam has experience doing podcasting, so he could work us through that end of it. But I've been a firm believer, throughout my real estate career. It's like, I don't know everything about legal stuff. I mean, I believe I could play an attorney on TV. I've been doing it for so long, but you bring in specialists that can help you get to the next level. So that's why I threw that out there. And we already know that Adam Torres on this call is a specialist and expert, and He knows how to do these things. So that would be my first call, is to talk to somebody that is currently doing it and can help me get to that next level.
So thank you for that, Michael. So in terms of next steps, so if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about the fund, they want to listen to your podcast, they want to connect with the content you're putting out overall, I mean, what's the best way for them to connect with you and your team, Michael?
They could go to libertyfund.io, but I really want to talk a little bit about the fund so that they understand what we're doing. Liberty is an investment fund. It's investing in single-tenant net leased assets. We have tried to set it up as a portfolio so that you get geographic diversification, industry diversification, and tenant credit strength diversification. So, and all of these are hard assets that have real intrinsic value. Our goal was to, put together one of the most stable portfolios that you could possibly have. And little did we know that there was going to be a COVID incident. So we're recording this right now. We're kind of at the tail end of COVID, hopefully. But we put together this portfolio to be as stable as possible, to be something that people can put their money into and say, I can sleep at night because I know that all these things are backed by, well-known brand name corporations. And as it turned out, when we were designing the portfolio to be internet resistant, we also found out that it was COVID resistant. So everything has just worked amazingly well. So if they want to know more about what we're doing with the fund, they can go to libertyfund.io. And if they want to know more about net lease properties, they can go to nothingbutnet.us. Or, better yet, they can contact me directly, Michael at libertyfund.io.
Fantastic. And that website, one more time, because I feel like people are going to check it out, and they're grabbing their pen. They're like, oh, what's that website that guy said? What's the website again?
It is the word liberty and the word fund.io. So libertyfund.io.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Liberty Fund, website libertyfund.io. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Michael, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam.